If someone from 2000 were to time travel to present-day 2024, what would shock them the most? Hello, everyone. We have a pretty interesting topic today. Post your opinion in the comments. It'll be interesting to read it. Have a nice view. Story 1. I feel the people who would have a unique insight to this are folks coming out of prison after serving long, 10-plus year sentences. I once heard one ex-prisoner say he noticed how angry everyone is. Another ex-prisoner said he noticed that no one noticed him. That is, everyone is so busy looking at their phone that they don't look up. Story 2. The hoo-ha to get on a plane. I remember being late for an international flight in Holland in 2000 and was able to run through airport and hop on with about 5 mins before departure. Airport staff were great. A few years later and you can't board if you're less than 40 mins before departure. Story 3. The overall cultural shift of the last 20 years. The extreme opinions and cult-like mentality politics. The very us versus them mentality that seems to have settled over everything. Things are just more volatile than they were 20 years ago. Edit typo. Story 4. How poorly people are paid in comparison to the cost of housing and basic necessities. I think people would be shocked by the amount of homeless people in Toronto, Canada. People would be shocked about how much that city has declined. Story 5. Hello. I time traveled from the year 2000. It took me exactly 24 years. And what shocks me the most? The insane levels of depression, inactivity, and lack of motivation among younger people. And don't tell me I idealize the past. The difference is huge, frightening, and confirmed by statistics. The second most shocking thing is the temperature. The ME from 2000 would never believe the town could reach 40 degrees Celsius for more than 2 days in a year, 30 days in 2023, or that there could be no snow holding on the ground at all in winter, 0 days last winter and the last before. I suspect those 2 paragraphs are somehow linked. I mean, if the current kids are at least as smart as me, the time traveler, and I'm really dumb, those 2 paragraphs are definitely linked. Story 6. Also, time traveler from 69. Same. As you grow older, you understand the relativity of time. As the years become smaller and smaller overall percentage of your life, they seem to pass faster and faster. The 12 years you spent going through elementary high school seemed to take so long, because at the time it took up 2/3 of your years alive, and 5 of those first years you don't even remember much, so it felt even longer. It was your entire life. At 54, 12 years ago was 2012. London Olympics. Whitney Houston died. Gangnam Style became a hit, yesterday. Time is relative to the person experiencing it. Story 7. Streaming movies, music, and YouTube would probably be amazing, especially combined with mobile devices. There is just so much available all the time it still amazes me when I think about it. I think finding out national punchline Trump had embraced bigotry and been elected president, done a poor job, and could potentially win again after a failed insurrection would be something you'd have to explain in stages, or they won't believe you. Story 8. Democrats would not recognize what their party has become. Republicans would be disgusted by their party kowtowing to Trump. They would ask, "What the fuck happened?" And we'd have to point them to Osama's handiwork a year after their time jump. Story 10. The global nature of communication and news. The internet has made it easy to connect with people and get news from all over the world. This is a big change from 2000, where information flow was more limited. Story 11. That quality of living for most people has gone down, that there aren't any flying cars, that still nothing has been done about world hunger or climate change, that the cost of college has skyrocketed while wages have stagnated, that more people are working than ever before. Productivity is at its highest, but 78% of Americans are still living paycheck to paycheck. I think they would mostly just be disappointed about the decline of civilization. Story 12. How much that silly thing is called the internet, mainly used for text blogs, have conquered our lives. How much phones have conquered our lives. How crazy real estate prices are. How crazy the prices of everything are. What a freak show the politics of today has become. How the cold not so cold war resumed. One thing he would be familiar with is the wages, pretty much unchanged since year 2000. Story 13. As someone who was already 7 in 2000, I'm mostly shocked how intoxicating the whole flood of daily information is. Too many people are locked in thinking globally and forming opinions and arguments over matter far out of their sphere of influence. I actually miss the point in time where people were mostly locally active and knew each other in their town, worked only a few minutes from their homes, and the world wouldn't look so bleak from inhaling all the misery the news gather to hook people by switching from one catastrophe to another. Then again, I am glad nowadays to have all your opinions to reflect my own views or to ask away on Reddit and receiving answers from people I would never meet otherwise. And I reflect that from being 7 back then. Of course, the world wasn't perfect, but everything felt slower and more manageable. But then again, I am just one dude with one point of perception on the matter. Story 14. The sharing economy. Services like Uber and Airbnb, which allow us to rent out our cars and homes, have become very popular. They'd find this a surprising new way of doing business. Story 15. Airport security and security in large public venues in general. The progression of technology and how screens almost always surround us now. In-app and game purchases or microtransactions. Story 16. How distracted everyone is now. Everyone is preoccupied. Like people worry about things that have not even happened and ignore the present. Everyone seems more selfish. They must always get things their way or they bitch. And even when they do get things the way they want, they just get bored of it and lose interest. Story 17. As someone who has time traveled from 2000 to 2024, the most shocking thing is how much people put on the internet. Like, why do you film y'all's selves so much and then you put it online for literally anyone to see? If you looking / sounding / being like an idiot? We would never. We kept our bullshit on low for a reason. Story 18, it would be unrecognizable. I should know. I remember the year 2K very well, and you're looking at a pre-9/11 world where there's hope and a bright outlook on life. The PS2 was slated to come out with lifelike graphics, new models of TVs, fuel-efficient cars, more powerful computers. The internet was still in its Wild West days where ads weren't plugging up bandwidth but had already gone through significant upgrades. The Olympics were fun then, too, without a lot of political drama like in more recent years. The world was still in a full, long peace, where there was no broader conflict other than local insurgencies fighting for control. I mean, the biggest drama of that year was either the Concorde crash in France or Bush versus Gore. Today, well, we all know how things are today. Story 19. Looking back at what I thought about the future in 2000, I'd have to say the general worsening of everything would shock me. What do you mean terrorists blew up the World Trade Center and the government has used that as an excuse to do whatever they want now? So you've got these amazing little computers you can carry in your pocket, and most people use them to just take pictures of themselves? Oh, and check whether other people are looking at those pictures? You say the biggest news now is a war between Ukraine and Russia, a war between Palestine and Israel, and that rich dude who had a cameo in Home Alone trying to be president? Wait, trying to be president again. Story 20. How everything is on the internet these days. In 2000, there really wasn't much. You could steal some songs on Napster. Maybe you had a live journal, but social media had not yet been invented. Internet of Things had not been invented. The fact that we have cameras in every room of our houses these days that use the internet that really was barely just coming into practice as a source of email communication, I think would be startling to somebody from 25 years ago. Story 21. How anti-social people are. In 2000, it was a lot more normal to interject yourself in overheard conversations. Men striking up random conversations with women wasn't usually seen as creepy. Knocking on someone's door wasn't a threatening ordeal. People could sit in a waiting room without needing a distraction. Story 22. How much worse the work has gotten. There's nothing any world leaders can do that will bring the world peace they want. And no matter how much people protest against the government, it never works to change the minds of those in power. And don't even get me started on how much worse natural disasters have become. Story 23. If I want to see a menu instead of going to the kitchen drawer, I have to go online to a site that makes me give them all kinds of info like my home address. To a restaurant that doesn't deliver. The best is when it's late at night, and I want to make plans for tomorrow, and if that restaurant is closed, I can't see the fucking menu. A lot of things were easy but are now difficult. Go to a restaurant that makes you scan a QR code just to see the menu. There is a server, but you have to order through the app. Story 24. Bring the time traveler with you. Walk into your apartment, tell Alexa lights on, and ask to play some specific music. Turn on your gaming computer and load up GTA 5 and play. You guys get hungry, pull out your phone, order their favorite food with the click of a button on DoorDash. While you wait, go to the balcony and record 4K vid on your phone of the city skyline. Then cast the video to your 4K TV with responsive backlighting with one click. The DoorDasher buzzes your building with a FaceTime call, let him up, grab the food. While you're eating, start up your 3D printer to make a souvenir for your guest. This entire experience will blow their mind. For us, it will be a normal Saturday night. Story 25. Well, let me say, I did time travel from the year 2000 to present day, as did everyone else my age who survived the journey. And the things that surprise me the most are how divided we as a people are, even in the face of danger, and how blatantly our legal system protects the wealthy and well-connected. Maybe these things shouldn't surprise me, but here I am, in 2024, surprised and disappointed. Story 26. No more walking to the gate at the airport. The shocking way the Patriot Act has ruined American life. It's been a slow creep for us, so we have not noticed. And all the post-9/11 stuff that was supposed to sunset in 2003, but instead have gotten much, much worse. In 2001, silver was $5 and gold was $200. Now they're $29 and $2,400 respectively. They're actually the same exact value. The USD has just hyperinflated. Story 27. That Al Gore didn't win the presidency, and we've let conservatives try everything under the sun to kill any and all progress on climate. It was an inconvenient truth, and half of Americans, the state of Florida and the Supreme Court, took a massive diarrhea squat all over civilization's future. Story 28. Smartphones and pervasiveness of the Internet. In 2000, smartphones and tablets were just a futuristic idea. They'd be amazed by how much information is now available at our fingertips, and how much we use our phones for things beyond just making calls.